Dude, I was trying to push Kristen towards cupcakes. I love cupcakes, man. Who doesn't love a cupcake?
Like,
and you can get like assortment. You can get like chocolate, vanilla. You can get chocolate cake, vanilla icing.
like cream filled.
Yeah, man.
Strawberry
Strawberry
a
filled.
whole bunch of different kinds. Like I could get like 8 of them of different if I wanted it yours. Instead of like one piece of cake. Like I'm committed to that piece of cake.
I know.
I really like cake.
Right. Cakes. Possible hot take right here. Cake's overrated. I'm more of a pie guy, to be honest.
I don't know. I would say the reason that the cupcake is superior to a slice of cake is due to the icing to cake ratio. You know, like with the cake, it depends on what piece you get if it's going to be good. Like the cupcake's like, oh my God, the icing on top is as big as the cupcake. This will be good because the ice is really why you're eating.
It's delicious with every bite.
Like, it's a cupcake of icing on top of the cupcake. It's awesome.
I think that is foolproof logic right there.
It is. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, man.
I think it's in my bag. Okay. Slim's bedtime.
Little girl going to bed?
Yep.
It's almost my bedtime.
Hang on, I'll be right back. Here. I'm here. Give me a big hug. Oh. I love it. So cool.
That was adorable. I just give me a big hug and she just cracks up.
She does. She has this laugh. Oh my God. It comes out like once every like 30 to 60 days. But you'll do something or say something, and it's so sinister. She'll look at you and go, she'll go, huh, like, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh no.
Like, am I raising a supervillain?
It's always like impeccable timing, and it's just like,
We've got this, Chris and I have this one friend who their child like belly laughs. Like a 40-year-old beer gut belly laugh. You know, like the first time I heard it, I was just like, what? Like, what is that? This child's wise beyond his years.
I like it.
All right, man. It's 8 o'clock. Last week we kind of went through the steps of kind of identifying values and then finding like our core values. So over this week, what you had me do was kind of we identified the core values and then we were moving on to finding our limiting factors, right? So like the beliefs that we have about ourselves that holds us back, essentially. All right. And so what we wanted to do there was take those limiting factors, take those beliefs that are holding you back, work our way through them to the point where we can then flip them, turn them into, a positive belief about yourself, right. A motivating factor, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you have a technical term. And then use that as our then basis, our leaping off point to progress, moving forward into the future. Right? Yep. All right. Yep. Awesome. So if you want, I know last time, we kind of, towards the end, I came up with one really quickly of, I'm lazy. I kept that one in there. So I'll just go through my limiting factors, or should I go through all of them and then go through all my flips, or should I go through one and one? Like do limiting factors?
I'll go one and one so people can hear like, all right, this is what the old belief was. Okay. Right? This is the limiting belief that I had. And this is the new belief that I choose to now have because I'm actually in control of this, right? Like we're rewriting everything, right? So I would do it that way.
Sure. And I think you also mentioned this too, is that they're free forming. Like, so just because we did this now doesn't mean, a week, a month, a year down the road, I might not, identify another limiting factor and be like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board, flip that.
We're forever in expansion, right? We're animals. We're part of nature. Nature has to expand. So as we go farther in this journey, we will go deeper into these beliefs eventually Ones will come up that you didn't even know were there, but now you have the tools. Hey, this is the belief. I no longer want that. I don't choose to have that. This is the opposite of it that I choose to have. Now let me figure out why I felt that way and explain to myself why this is the belief system that I'm going to own. Now you have the tools.
And this is everything in life. I mean, this is health. This is goals. This is, going to the gym. Like, you finally work up the courage to, get your ass off the couch, get to the gym. You lose 10, 20 pounds. You're not done magically, because then you'll just go back to where you were. Like, it's something that you're continuously progressing on, working through, improving. Same thing with, everything.
Everything. I mean, all of your expectations, actions, events, circumstances, everything in life that you have going on right now, big one, every circumstance that you're involved in is a reflection and a reaction of your core beliefs. You created it. No one wants to hear that, but that's true. If you break it down, you will find that everything is literally a reflection and a reaction to the beliefs that you hold. That's amazing, though, because as much as we don't want to hear it, when we hear it and we understand it, we then take our power back. When we realize we can do and have everything, like you just said, any aspect of life, change the belief at its fundamental level. Change the micro, and the macro expression will change. Anyways, let's hear yours.
No, that's exactly true. Because, and I think, again, before I dive in, just last little point, the reason why some people don't like to hear it is because now it puts accountability on us. It flips it. It takes the blame off everyone else, turns it back inward, and now it's just like, all right, well, why did this happen? It's because I'm this, because I did X, Y, Z. Okay, yeah, so let's dive in. So first, the last one I came up with last week, I'm lazy, jumped right out to me. So then how we flipped it, stole it right from you. I liked what you said. I even talked to you throughout the week, and I was just like, can I steal it from you? And you're just like, absolutely. So
I probably stole it from someone, so it doesn't. It's awesome.
But that's everything. Like, all my training knowledge didn't come from me. It came from me reading and taking it from other places and condensing it and forming my own belief off of it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's knowledge. Like, no one's, unless you're like a scientist or discovering something, you're not discovering something for yourself. You're taking things, internalizing it, and making it your own. So I am lazy, flipped. I take massive action. All right. That's what you gave me. I loved it. We talked over it. I think it's a good one. Because like you said, if you take massive action, you can't be lazy. A lazy person does not take massive action. Right. Whether that's, whatever, right?
And it's such an easy way, like, again, we talked about the breadcrumbs. It's such an easy way to link these things together. Like, that's logical in your mind. And when it's broad and logical, your conscious mind is like, oh, wait, that makes sense. Let me give this to the subconscious. Holy crap. And so as long as you act in that way, then you can't be lazy. And you'll never then start to feel that way ever again, which is super important. I guess one of the things, I actually wrote this down because I didn't want to mess up. It's called the law of reversibility, right?
Okay.
And so this law says you're more likely to act yourself into feeling a particular way than you are to feel yourself into acting a particular way. So everybody's like, oh, well, I'll wait until I feel like it. No.
It never works.
Action comes first. Yeah. Then you get the feeling, right?
Well, no significant change has ever come from a comfort zone. And that's where you're operating from. If you're waiting to feel a certain way, you're operating from your comfort zone. If you're going to change anything, if you're going to, again, it could be the simplest thing as, going outside or something. Right. It's a conscious decision. It's a choice. It's going outside of your boundaries. So I 100% agree with that.
And that's exactly what you're talking about. The massive action. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Number 2, I cannot handle pressure. All right. So that was my internal belief, my negative internal belief. How I flipped it was so I'm going to just use the bare minimum, and then I'll go back and show how they were connected. So I cannot handle pressure, and then I am prepared for pressure. So that's kind of what I came up with the flip. Now, do you want me to walk it through 1 to 2 right now, or?
I'd walk it through, and I would say,
okay, show the logic.
Yeah, show the logic. So you got there, and then
Okay.
I think we can work that number 2 a little more too. Go ahead.
That's fine. Yeah. So all right. So then what it was I cannot handle pressure being the negative. And then what I did was I built upon my first flip. So my first flip was I take massive action. My second flip was through action, I am prepared for pressure. Because internally, for me, if I'm saying I can't handle pressure, now saying, well, I've taken all this action to achieve something, through that action, I can obviously handle this pressure now because I have taken this action to prepare for a scenario. So, that was in me, my logic of getting from, 1 to 2. All
Yep.
right.
So the one thing that I would make a suggestion with the second one is
Sure.
it's specific, which is good, right? We want to be specific, but in this instance, I think we want to be more broad. So I would do something like just I am prepared, right? Because whatever that situation is, you are prepared, right? We don't have to be preparing for necessarily
For pressure. Yeah.
pressure. I mean, we want pressure in our lives, but if I am prepared, ... is the scenario, right? Like one thing I tell myself a lot is with every rep and every breath, I'm getting stronger, healthier, and more capable, right? That's an affirmation that I use for myself.
Sure.
So literally every rep and every time I breathe, my subconscious is starting to learn that, well, I'm supposed to get stronger, healthier, and more capable. More capable of what? Whatever the fuck I want to do. Do I want to go walk today? I don't know. Do I want to swim? Whatever it is, I'm prepared. Right?
I dig it.
All right, cool.
All right.
Third.
So I just chopped off the pressure part. So number 2 flip is through action or through my action, I am prepared.
Yep.
All right. Number 3, my limiting factor, limiting belief, negative belief, whatever you want to call it. I am not smart enough. Okay. And then how I flipped that was through my preparation, I gained intelligence. So then again, that's working off of 1 leading into 2, and then 2 leading right into 3. So through massive action, I am prepared. Through my preparation, I gain intelligence.
Yep.
All right.
And so those are all awesome. And just for some people, first off, everybody can now see how the breadcrumbs fall into place. Like, right, when you find that one, and we talked about it before, and yours is obviously I take massive action. That one limiting belief, or I apologize, the one belief that you want to hold most dear, right? That's the one that if you could change one belief, that's the belief you would change. We kind of talked about that last time. Yours is obviously I take massive action because, as you can see, if you take massive action, it literally cleans up all these other beliefs that you have, right? And so other people will have the same thing, and they'll be able to follow those breadcrumbs about how it's not logical. The other thing is you may have 2 completely different ones, right? You may have one that's A and one that's Z, right? And super far apart. And there might not be any breadcrumbs there, but you can still flip them. It's okay, sure. Right? So it's okay if they don't necessarily follow that direction. But your biggest one is
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think I honestly don't believe that it's any sort of coincidence that the 4 limiting beliefs that I had that I wrote down are all interconnected in some way.
No, not a coincidence at all.
And it's a very clear and logical path of leading from I am lazy to my last one, which I'll say it right now if you want, is I lack the discipline to be great. Okay?
Right. So here's a cool thing is, just like you said, they're all linked. Well, that's how your subconscious linked them, the beliefs and the negative.
Yeah.
So every belief is linked in the negative just the way it is in the positive. You just haven't conditioned yourself to believe, ironically, what you should.
Yeah. All right. All right. So the 4th limiting belief was I lack the discipline to be great. How I flipped it, and again, this is interconnecting all the previous 3. Through my action, preparation, and intelligence. I can't read my handwriting. Sorry. Through my action, preparation, and intelligence, I am programmed for greatness.
There you go.
So, yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. And, how you talked about, so you have, the limiting belief, you flip it to something that's, again, more empowering, positive, that sense. And then how you said you work through it. So you write it down, you write it down, you write it down, you write something that pops into your head that's, kind of icky and makes you think the opposite. You write that down, knock it off, write it down, write it down, write it down, keep going, that kind of thing. And then, and it literally does take you from step one where I said, like, I am lazy, I flip it, I take massive action, and it led me straight to when I was doing the second one, was just like, all right, I can't handle pressure. And I was just like, all right, I can. Like, through my action, I'm prepared. And when I'm prepared, I can handle the pressure. Like, I'm prepared. And again, looking back, at other scenarios, I'll say, like, in my lifetime where I felt like I couldn't handle the pressure, if you're brutally honest with yourself, wasn't prepared. That's why. That's why. So I mean, it's very logical. Which to me, like, I try to operate on a logic sort of basis. If it doesn't make sense, like, then why am I doing it?
Yep.
And I think a lot of people, if you look at yourself internally, you realize that you do probably operate. Now, obviously, people have feelings that'll sway them one way or another, but I think deep down, most people are going to say, like, I'm not going to do something if it doesn't make sense to me. This down and working it out exactly how you said. It takes me from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, and they're all interconnected. So I can connect 1 to 3, I can connect 1 to 4, I can connect 4 to 2, like, whatever. Yeah, man, it was pretty crazy, but it definitely works. I love the flip of it because these are definitely factors that, I'm not going to say I necessarily dwelled on, but they're always back there. Whether you're pushed to the forefront of your head or not throughout the day, they're there. And it creeps in your head.
That's where it can be the most damaging, is when it is so deep and impregnated in your operating system that it's unconscious. It is just happening, right? That's why we're unrooting this. That's why we're getting to the gritty part of this. And that's why that last episode or podcast or whatever we're calling it isn't really probably everybody's favorite, because it's gritty, man. Right?
No, it's tough.
That you probably wrote didn't feel good, but I promise you, when you finished, you felt good. I can tell the difference just now. Like, it's awesome, because now you're in control and you're like, I can have this. It makes sense. And if it makes sense now, logically, your subconscious is going to take it in and it's going to reprogram. And I promise you, by the time we're done with this 12 months from now, life's not going to be the same. So for people that are listening, again, this time, now we're going to do some more of the fun stuff, right? We're going to get back into, like, now we kind of got rid of some of the junk. And I don't like to dwell on the past, but it's important to find those, right?
Well, I think it's important to let it go, especially the negative.
Yep. And it's important to not just, and like, everybody's like, oh, let it go, but no one tells you how, right? No one gives you the tools on how. So now we have the tools. Just there you go. So now, if, again, all anyone were to do was to do the values and their beliefs, and they were to organize their entire life based off of that, everything they do from now on based off their values and their beliefs, and they took action on it, life would radically change. We haven't even wrote a goal yet. Life would radically change. That's how important those things are, right? So that's super exciting. All right, you ready to get into more of the fun stuff? I like this stuff.
Let's do it.
This is awesome. Okay.
I got my trusty dusty pen with me. Ready to go.
All right. So in my mind, the most powerful thing that we can do now from this point forward is we need to create the mental equivalent. We need to create an anchor of what we want. We need to create the image. When you create the image, and the clearer the image, the faster that image is going to come to you without resistance, right? So we need to create this anchor of what we desire. And desire then is potential seeking expression, right? So you desire something, right? And it's a strong desire, right? Everybody says, oh, you got to have a burning desire for it. What the fuck does that mean, right? What that actually means is there's a latent potential inside of you that is trying to push you closer to this thing you desire, and it's trying to awaken you for that, right? So it is literally unlimited potential inside of you trying to explode like a bomb, right? It's amazing, right? So what we want to do is we want to take and we want to create this image for our life in all of these aspects, and we want to make it feel and make it as real and as detailed as possible so we can go out there and taste it, right? This is the visualization. This is the vision board stuff that people do, all of that kind of things, right? So what we're going to do with the image is we are going to take mentally and emotionally, and we are going to unite the two powers that we have, right? Because we have a mental control of our bodies, which is our will.
Sure.
And then we have our emotional system that guides us, right? Like, does this feel good in my gut? And those are two very powerful things. And a lot of times I explain to people that, like nervousness, right? When you feel nervous, they've done studies that nervousness and excitement at the cellular level, there's absolutely no difference. The only difference is that someone told you that because it's before the Super Bowl that you're nervous. But before the surprise birthday party that I'm throwing for someone, I'm excited because I can't wait for them to walk in the door, right? But it's cellularly, it's the exact same thing. So we don't want to have a separation in that. We don't want the mental wanting one and the emotional wanting the other, right? Because then we're pulling at opposite ends. We want to combine the two. We want to unite the two, and we want them flowing in the same direction. Make sense?
Does, yeah.
Good. All right. So what we do with this is then the image now is going to become the blueprint. We're going to work on the end image, and then we're going to create the blueprint, which you would do for anything, right? Of how to then get there. So
Sure.
when you start to think, we're going to stimulate the emotions today. We're going to stimulate our imagination. Imagination is creation, right? And now that we've seen, all right, I got my values and I can have any belief system I want. Well, if you can have any belief system you want, then in turn you can have anything you want. But we have to create such a strong feeling towards it that is not in a negative way, which is why you have to then believe that you can achieve these things. So if we were to just jump right into it like everybody else and say, hey, create your vision board, do your thing, have your Lamborghini, whatever. Well, I don't believe I can have those things, but I'll put it up there and look at it for the next 6 years. But it didn't come to me, but that's okay, right? Whatever, it just doesn't work. No, it works. You don't have the right belief system, so we need to step you through this. So as we progress through this, we want the imagination to build, because a lot of times people will tell you, right, like, all right, we want to meditate, we want to clear the mind, we want to do all these things. For me, that doesn't really get me where I want to go. My mind wants to work, and so I want it to work. I'm going to put it to work for me. So instead of fighting and trying to calm it down, which is not a bad thing to do, but that's a whole nother podcast for meditating on another day, right? Because I believe there's a better way to meditate. But this can be a form of that because you're controlling your thoughts. So instead of sitting down and thinking about, oh my God, the bills are due, we're going to flip this script and we're going to start to think about everything that's potential in life. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to think about one thought. And then that thought, when you think about it, because nothing else is going to be in your mind, you're going to be focused on this thought of, let's say, your house, right? That house with all the land. Well, then that house is going to build, and it's going to be like, well, holy shit, I got a kid with a four-wheeler, and then that four-wheeler is a Honda, whatever, 4-tracks. And then, then that's going to be like, well, the kitchen's all made of oak wood, and then there's pots hanging from the ceiling. And then all of a sudden this image builds, and one thought, boom, 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 more and more thoughts start to come. And each one drives that image deeper into the brain and into the subconscious. And then we revisit that over and over and over again. And this becomes our mental anchor. So while you're not living in that house right now, we don't focus on appearances, right? We don't focus on bills are due. We don't give any attention to that besides what needs to be done to that. The majority of our waking day is spent holding these images in our mind of the future and what's to come, not getting caught up in appearances. And every time we feel ourselves getting pulled back into this, like, I don't have that mountain home yet, boom, sit down and feel what it feels like to get back into it. You're undoing massive years of limiting beliefs still with this, because you're going to feel that way and you're like, no, this is the image. This is what's forming around me. And when you do that, it is going to form around you in one way or another, right? The whole body, the being, the brain is going to find ways to give you boom, 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 one breadcrumb in front of another, and this image will start to form around you. So some things that are cool with this, that one of the things I want to touch on, and I meant to look it up to get the actual thing, but it's okay. The overarching theme of this is that they did studies on the gray and white matter of the brain, right?
Sure.
And how that functions. And so they took 3 groups of people. They took someone with a piano and they gave them a whatever to play, like a song, okay? And they hooked their brain up and they did it and they practiced this song on the piano for however many days and however many weeks that it was the study was set up for. And they monitored how their brain, gray and white matter, changed to the physically playing this out on a piano with sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Then they took the next group and they did the exact same thing, except they didn't give them a piano. They had them sit and literally play it like they would if the piano was in front of them, like mentally hearing it and playing it and doing this for, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever it was, however many days a week for however many months or whatever, okay? Then they took the third group and they didn't play anything, but they knew how to play the piano, right? And they mentally, for an hour, envisioned themselves practicing the exact notes, the exact keys, and all this thing. There was almost no change in the development of the gray matter when they mentally did it, right? When they physically did it, there was more than not, because you're physically, it's like a psychomotor neuro effect. You're inactivating the whole brain. So of course there was more. But the other 2, it wasn't that much difference, showing that just holding the image in your mind without physically even having it yet creates so much change in your brain at a cellular level that it literally is going to start to bring it into experience. The gray and white matter changed in their brain to learn to play the song.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So it does that with everything. Everything. You want a house, it'll do it with the house. Hold the image long enough, have a good enough feeling about it, and it's going to happen. All right, so let me get a drink first. All right, so we're going to write these down. Very important. And again, I don't know if I said it in the last podcast. Everything we talk about doing, I want you to physically write it through, right? No typing, because it actually inactivates the whole brain, drives it deeper, does all these kinds of things. So what I want you to do is, in the next minute or 2, and I'll wait, take your time. Well, don't take too much time, but do your thing. Is I want you to write down your top 10 favorite things to do, pleasures, activities, whatever they are, your top 10 favorite things to do, and write those bad boys down. Go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. The whole world's watching, man.
Millions. Pressure's on. I got to come up with some good ones.
If you can't come up with 10, just come up with as many as you can. I'll give you like 2 minutes, and then
as soon as I run out of stuff, I'll just turn back.
All right, that works.
Now, are you looking for something I don't want to say necessarily specific, but like a specific thing, or can it be like a general thing that I just like to do, or that I want?
Yeah, your favorite things or pleasures. You like hiking? Write down hiking. You like playing baseball? Put down baseball. You like
all right. So I guess the one I'm having a question with is, one of my ultimate goals is I want my time to be my own. I like my own time. Does that make sense, or is that more of a goal as opposed to something that I like?
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that one of your favorite things to do is have
my own time. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that that is ultimately one of my goals. Is that is one of my values. Is my own time. I don't want to be on someone else's clock. I don't want to be working a 9 to 5 in someone's business. Blah blah blah. I want my time to be my own, to do with what I want. Okay, yeah, I think that just answered it. Yeah, I just want my time so I can do things that I want. So that just answered my question. Okay.
Answer my question. Good. Walking through it.
All right, I'm at like 6, 7 right now.
All right.
Some of them are kind of like doubled up. Like I could make them separate ones, but I grouped them together.
Hold on, before you go.
Yeah.
Before you go. So for people listening, I want you to do that, right? Pause it, write 10 things down, take as much time as you need. We don't have all the time in the world right now because we're doing the shows. So if you're listening, pause it, write those 10 things down. Your favorite things to do, your favorite pleasures in life, whatever they are, 10 things that just make you come alive, write those things down. Now, what we have just got to here, go ahead and read them first.
Okay. Number 1, like being with family, friends. All right. 2, exercise. 3 is being creative in some sense, whether that's drawing, creating my videos, playing the piano. 4, I crossed out. That was the having time. So 4/5 is sports. And then 6/7 was to teach/coach.
Perfect. So what everybody wants to ask is like, well, what do you really want to do in life? That's what everybody wants to ask people,
You need to
right?
pick one, yeah.
So my thing is, no one knows what that one thing is. So what we just created is the beginning of a list of what you really want to do in life, because they're your favorite things to do.
Yeah.
So now what you can do from here, and I recommend people do this, is take one or all 10, right? Whatever one's most passionate to you, right? If the family thing is just something I want, whatever, sports, coaching, teaching, whatever it is. Let's just use teaching for an example because it's an easy one to do this example with, right?
Sure. Yep.
So then what you're going to do is you are going to take teaching, you're going to write it up at the top, and you are going to list 10 ways that you can make money doing that. How can you make money teaching, right? You don't do that. But like whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
10 ways that I can make money teaching. Okay, so awesome. Without directly having to sit there and be like, well, what do I want to do with my life? I want to travel all over the world. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. So everybody says, list 10 of your pleasures. That's what you want to do in life.
That's it. You're done.
That's what you want to do. Like, and if you're not doing something on that list, then recalibrate, right? Because you should be doing what makes you happy all the time, right? That's what they say. Do what makes you happy. You'll never work another day in your life. Well, what the fuck is that? How do you know that? Like, I mean, come on, so this gives you tools. Again, tools. We want to build, we want to stack the deck in our favor. That, hey, maybe you don't find exactly what you're going to do with that one, but it is going to start your imagination, because now you got 4 more spaces to fill with things you like to do.
Yep.
And if you do it for every single one, what you're going to have now, someone that's in a financial situation, if you write 10 things you want, are pleasurable in your life, and you pick each one and you write 10 ways you can make money off of those things, you just gained 100 ways. You just told yourself 100 ways you can make more money. 100 ways you just came up with. Pick one, make a plan, see it through. Done. Like, there you go. $1 million nugget. So $1 million idea right there, which is a whole nother topic. Find $1 million ideas. Okay. So that's what I'm going to have everybody do. It'll be the first thing. 10 things that create pleasure or favorite things to do in life. Take them, pick one or all 10, whatever you want to do. Stimulate the imagination. Think of 10 ways that you can make money doing it. Don't stop at 8.
Yep.
Don't stop at 9. 10. Because a lot of times that last one is the one where it's like, oh shit, I never thought of that before. Because what happens is the first 5 or 6, and it's the same with your favorite things to do. Those last ones, you have to stretch your mind, stretch your imagination.
You got to dive in a little bit.
Right? And when you do that, and then when you do that with the part of like, how can I make money doing these things, the imagination stretches. You start to create new experiences. You start to evolve, right? Like, we're always in expansion. We're starting to expand in that area, okay? So that's huge. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, that's all you have to write down today, so you don't have to stress about any of that. So this one's going to have more work, and then we're going to talk a lot next week about them because they're amazing. But all right, so the next thing is that we're going to want to do, so I believe it's called like future orientation and idealization in psychology or whatever that's what they nonsense. What you're going to do
Sure.
is you're going to project. Yeah, true. Drink the nonsense. So what we're going to do is project ourselves into the future. 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just not right now. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, maybe you should write these down so we have a list that we can repeat to everybody back at the end if you want.
I'm on it.
All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write your ideal work life / situation, whatever that is. Where you work, the people you work with, the skills you have, how you do it, what you do, right? Details, details, details. Everything. What does the room look like? What is what do I wear? How do I smell? What does my hair look like? Who do I interact with every single day? Like, what time do I wake up? What time do I leave work? Every single detail. Am I in a high rise? What does the view look like from my high rise? Clarity, vision. Spend time doing this. This is fun, right? All the details of what your work life is going to look like. You're laughing. You're like, write them. Write. Pages and pages in a notebook. Create the ideal future for your work life. You will freaking love it, okay? But details and feeling are the most important. You may start like I did, and it's just like broad, like bump, like this is what I want to do. I see this many patients and do this and whatever. And it's like, oh, well, wait a second. Well, I want the office to flow this way, and I want it to look this way, and I want it to be this colors, and I want it to smell this way, and I want to have this thing, and I want to have that, right? And so you'll just keep at it for a little bit and let that imagination expand. Let the one thought lead to the next thought and just free flow. Write it all down. Doesn't mean you have to keep all of it, but just let the mind go free, right? Completely limitless. Don't do this with like, well, my ideal work situation in the place I'm at today. Like if that's not your ideal workplace,
yeah, that's not what you're talking about.
Right. So completely limitless. 5 years, whatever it is, completely limitless. What is your ideal work situation? All right, next one. How are you making your money? And then like a little underscore of that is what material luxuries do you have? Cars, homes, furniture, freedom, right? Money is freedom. Money is ease. And yeah, I said material luxuries for everybody that wants to give you the fruit answer that all that shit doesn't matter. Drive a Lamborghini. Promise you it feels good.
I've never seen anyone frown on a jet ski.
That's my favorite, right? Like, I mean, so to have nice things. I actually listened to a guy once. He said something. I thought it was amazing. It stuck with me forever, right? Everybody's like, oh, you should go donate time at the soup kitchen, right, or whatever. And he's like, I don't have time to donate time at the soup kitchen. And it's like, oh, well, you drive nice cars, you have material things, blah, 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 these material things. He's like, motherfucker, who do you think buys the soup that you hand out at the soup kitchen? You know what I mean? Right? So think about it in terms of that. Like, what service are you going to give? Anyway, so don't hold back on the material things, the luxury things. What TV do you have? Like, what cologne do you buy? Is it super high-end cologne? Isn't it? I don't know. What is your belts? Do you like belts? Do you like watches? Whatever those things are. Do you like glasses? You know? Belts. Do you want to be Batman?
I feel like belts is such an oddly specific thing.
I don't know. I just looked up and saw you have glasses.
Come to my closet. See my assortment of belts.
Batman's got a badass utility belt.
Batman has the fucking belt.
That's what I'm saying. All right, so the material luxury. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our family and our relationships, right?
Okay.
How do you, and relationships play into work too, right? Like what relationships do you want to have? What people do you want to know with work? All that kind of things. But I don't know. Our family dinner is important to you. What do they look like together? Like one of mine specifically is, family dinners all the time together. And then staycations with my wife, right? Where we just, our daughters with someone else, and we go 2 or 3 days, we go down to Miami, whatever, staycations like these. But those are like ideal situations that I want to create, right?
Sure.
And then the next one is health. How do you look and feel with your health? How do you look? How do you feel? How much do you weigh? What does your body look like? How do your clothes fit? What kind of clothes do you wear? What time do you go to the gym? Do you feel energized after the gym? Like what supplements do you take? I don't know. Like everything, right? Like these are, I take some pricier supplements, and so I didn't always be able to afford those, but now I can, right? Like I have a really high-end ashwagandha that I love to take. Well,
Sure.
I didn't start there, but worked our way and we got there. So again, if I didn't have that mental image of that, it doesn't come, right? So everything, details, details, details. I cannot stress details enough. Now, this one I think is awesome. I love it. One of my favorite is take 1 year calendar, 12 months, from January 1st to December 31st, and plan your ideal year. Vacations, days off, days of work, when you do this, when you don't do that. That was one of my favorites. I love doing that one.
It actually sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. How do you like the holidays? Like, do you want to work? You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. So like plan what that looks like for you.
Sure.
So that this all, right, again, we'll finish it with just take massive action, because all of this is massive action. This is fun. This is going to take a while. It's not going to feel as that as the other one, right? This one's going to be awesome.
I'm a little more excited to do this one.
A little more excited. So what I would tell everybody is like, hey, do one. There's probably 5 or 6 of them there.
Yeah, you got 5.
Do one a day. Do one a day. And what's really cool here, what I would recommend everybody do is I want you to start your day with this. I want you to wake up an extra 30 minutes earlier. Maybe, Len, you don't wake up an extra 30 minutes earlier because you'll be waking up when you're going to bed. You'll be waking up when the sun goes down, but that doesn't matter. So what I would recommend is I want everybody to do this one the first thing in the morning. So I want you to wake up before you go to bed. I want you to set out your notebook, have your pen, have your coffee stuff ready. Prepare the night before to do this, okay? Wake up, get your coffee, your water, sit down, allot 30 minutes or more, and I want you to do it. And then I want you to be very aware of how the rest of your day goes. Because what's going to happen is you are going to start your day with such a crisp mental clarity and precise vision of what you want that the rest of your day is going to start to mimic that. You're going to feel better. You're going to ride higher. People that didn't notice you before are going to notice you. You're going to be happier. Your boss is going to notice you at work. All these things are going to start to happen and fall into place literally immediately because you started your day in that sleepy, drowsy state, coming out of it, and you stretched your mind. You stimulated your imagination. You fed the subconscious details that you want, and you held that image and you anchored to it. Now, that's how you start your day. How you start your day matters more than you can ever imagine, just like how you finish your day matters. And those 2 things we'll talk about in another podcast. I'm going to write that down. Start/finish day. Those 2 things, they matter more than you can ever imagine. Your tone for your day will change. Watch. Things are going to start to come into your experience. And because you're going to do one of these for 5 days, watch what happens all week. How fucking good you feel every day. It's going to blow your mind. Boom.
I dig it.
Boom. And another one, big, under health, how you look and feel. If you have a disease or a symptom or whatever that is, do you want it or don't you want that symptom anymore, right? A belief caused that symptom, right? Period. So we're going to rid that belief system. We're going to take actions to change it, because here's the deal. I don't care what you've been diagnosed with. I don't care who told you what it is. I don't care if you have 0.00001% chance of living. If 0.00001% chance of living, are you saying I have a chance? Fuck yeah, I'm saying I have a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Right? If 3% of people live with whatever you have, why can't you be one of those 3? What did those 3 people do? I promise you they started to do this and hold the image of things, right? It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter the circumstances. It doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. Do you want more? Do you want less? Whatever it is, if you anchor in, you can do this. If you have something going on, maybe that health one, you got to work for 2 or 3 days. Develop the perfect image of the perfect body that expresses perfect health, that adapts incredibly every single day, and it will happen. And you anchor into that every morning, every night. Boom. That's how you change your life. You don't need a doctor.
It almost it almost seems like, so when I was going through my master's program for education, so again, a little bit different, but you're reflecting something that like as you were talking, I was just like, oh, this sounds really familiar. It's almost like something that we call like the self-fulfilling prophecy. So what you're doing here is, you're starting off your day with something positive, with something that you want to achieve, with something that you want to see, and then your decisions throughout the day are going to reflect what you did earlier to make that what we call like your reality. Okay.
Yep.
And like we said, it's something and this is generally the self-fulfilling prophecy, especially when it's referred to in education, refers to a negative. So it's the kid who like did something bad once in third grade and then gets labeled as a bad kid, and all the teachers tell the third grade teacher and the fourth grade teacher and the fifth grade teacher, watch out for this kid, he's a bad apple. And then he's got the stereotype that he's a bad kid, so he just follows through and then becomes a bad kid because this pathway was laid out for him. So
because guess what they did is he was in an impressionable state, because from the ages of 1 to 3 and then 3 to 7, you're the most impressionable and you're developing all your values and beliefs. So at that age, a teacher who he spends 6-7 hours a day with does something. She literally
5 days a week. Yeah.
5 days a week, more time than the parents. She delivers a value and a belief so deeply ingrained into his subconscious that he acts it out. That's literally what's happening. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he holds on to that forever because it's something like 98% of your neurology is developed by the time you're 7. So it's locked in. You can change it. This is how you change it.
It's tough, yeah.
But it's tough. But that's yes.
Yeah, no, it was so crazy because as you were going through your whole shtick, I'm sitting there and I was just like this was it. Like, it's obviously the complete opposite. We're talking something fulfilling, in a negative, and we're trying to reverse that. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, and it all comes down to, and I love how you said, like, starting your day off with something positive, something motivating, as opposed, like, I could never understand how people just like, and again, it's not for me, just roll out of bed like 5 minutes before you have to like get in the car and go to work. I can't even fathom how that's possible.
Right.
I was like, how can you not take time to like at least gather yourself, think about what you're supposed to be doing, maybe like work on a side project, even if you're not working on a side project, even if you're just sitting on the couch staring at a blank wall, at least that's some sort of like meditation, and you're gathering yourself and preparing yourself for the day and starting yourself off in like a better situation, as opposed to like stumbling down the stairs to your car half asleep and weaving in and out of traffic. Like, but yeah, so real quick, what I want to do, I just want to recap those five and a half points, just in case anyone missed it, wants to hear it again. So the first one, and you said you recommended doing this, just take one a day, and we're really just diving in and listing as many things as possible that we can possibly fill into these categories.
Everything. I cannot stress details. What does the wall look like? What does it smell like in the morning? What is it like at night? Like, I know exactly what it feels like when I walk out on the porch of my mountain home. I know what robe I'm in. I know what coffee cup I'm holding. I know that it's black coffee. I know what it smells like. I know that I can see the fall leaves and that it's crisp and it's cool. And I know that Sloan's going to wake up and what we're going to go do that day and how her and I are going to write goals together in the morning. Like, I know it. Right? It's there. That image is there.
Love it. All right. Step 1. List 1. Whatever. Ideal work life or situation. All right.
Oh, hold on.
Yep.
Before we do that, we're going to do the 10 favorite things to do / 10 favorite pleasures.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I was counting that as done because I did it, but yes. So yes, first thing we're doing is listing down, our 10 favorite things to do, right?
Yep.
And then from those 10 things in each 10 categories,
or whatever's your favorite or whatever. But
okay.
Yeah, pick like one. Like if you're just like, oh my god, I realize I just love teaching. 10 ways you can make money under that one,
okay.
Right? But by all means, do all 10. That'll blow your freaking mind.
I mean, hey, the more options you have, the better, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, 10 things that we like to do, want to do, and then pick. We'll say 3 to 10. Pick 10 more things that fall into each one of those 10 categories.
Mm-hmm.
All right, once we got that, then we're dropping down to our ideal situations, ideal self, that kind of thing. So number one would be ideal work life and situation. All right, and you're saying describe everything about it. You know,
Everything.
what's the floor like? What's the wall color? How does it smell? Is there a water cooler, a water fountain, whatever? How many belts do you have?
Belts are important. I have 2 belts.
2 belts.
One for jeans, one for dress pants. Efficient.
I don't even know. I think I have 2, maybe 3. Or I think I have like a brown and black. I know.
Prima Madonna. You have 3 belts. Ooh.
See my closet out back with all my belts. Number 2. So this one kind of had that subcategory too. So how are you making money? And then underneath that, you want to list the material luxuries that you have or want
to have, right? And
yeah.
I think an important thing there too is like if you have a wife and kids, what material luxuries as a provider do you want to give them?
Yeah.
What do they like? Do they like to go on vacations? Do they like to get their nails done? I don't know. Feels good to give.
Yeah,
list
absolutely.
Those material luxuries. Like people are like, oh, material things don't matter, but they get their nails done every week. Well, then don't go get your nails done if it doesn't matter. You know, like
clearly it does.
Okay to want material things. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So how are you making money? Subcategory: what material luxuries do you have? Are you providing your family, yourself? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is your family, friends, relationships. So describe them. Your family coming over? Are they not? You having friends over? Whatever. Blah blah blah. Okay. Next is your health. So how do you look? How do you feel? If you have a condition, are you recovering from that condition? Etc. All right. Yep. Last but not least, plan your ideal calendar year. So like you said, July 1st to December 31st, every day, every month. What are you doing? When are you on vacation? When are you working? When are you taking breaks? What are you, I don't know, doing whatever?
I will say that I didn't plan 365 days. I did kind of chunks.
Okay, yeah. I guess I want
to travel. I want to travel for work 2 times a month, working in these 2 different locations, and you know what I mean. And then I want to have a staycation once a month with my wife, and then I want to travel as a family once every 3 months to these places. And like, where do you want to go? You want to go to Tokyo? You want to go to Canada? I don't know, Quebec. Like, you want to travel for Christmas? Like, I want these months during the holidays where work is condensed and it's all of my remote work and blah blah blah. That kind of a thing.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't terribly clear. I don't want you to plan out every single day of the next year. I guess you could. Yeah. By all means. But yeah, I guess how I'm planning it in my head is, probably breaking it into months and then breaking it down like week by week.
That's kind of what I do.
Like, okay, cool. And that's the 5, right?
Yep, or 6 or whatever we did.
Yeah, it's like 5.5, including the luxuries.
9 3/4. We're taking Sloan to Harry Potter World for a 9 3/4.
Dude, I really want to do that.
Okay.
I've been watching the Harry Potter movies. They're on HBO Max, so I've been like knocking them out.
Yeah. Have you never seen them?
Oh no, I'm a child. Yeah, I've read the books.
We might have to end our friendship in this podcast right now. It's done. I just smashed my computer.
I can't work like this. No, yeah, that was actually one of my goals during this whole quarantine thing was I really wanted to reread the Harry Potter books, but apparently someone in my family had that same goal, so they had books. So I wasn't able to get them. Yeah, so I decided next best thing was I'll just rewatch all the movies and read something else. So actually, read Jurassic Park, the book. Phenomenal book. I knocked it out in like 4 days.
You have to get this. I'm going to give a shameless plug to one of my best friends that I went to college with, or high school with. Sorry. Corey McCullough. He writes, he's an unbelievable self-published author, and he has a couple different books. So he has the Fallen Odyssey series, and he has 3 of the 4 books done now. Right. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
I read the link because it's an unbelievable book. And then he also has another one called A Knife in the Dark, and it's actually on Audible now.
Okay.
Grab it, dude. So good, so awesome. These are right up your alley, dude.
Yeah, dude, send them, man.
I will send them to you. Maybe we'll link it underneath here, but let me see if I can find the website. Because the books are legit and people need to. www.thefallenodyssey.com/products will take you to his stuff.
Cool.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah, dude. I love all that stuff.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, man.
All right.
How you feeling about this? This was good.
This was awesome. This one's going to be a lot more fun for everybody to do the work with.
I'm already more excited to do this.
Yeah, the other one's rough, but you got to do it, and like, don't be afraid to go back later. Like, follow the progress of this, but later we're going to want to go back, and we'll probably put that in, as one of the things to go back, in 2 or 3 weeks from now and revisit those beliefs and rewrite them, the new ones, and see if there's anything lingering, and then we'll clear that back up. But because that's it cannot be overstated how important it is. But this one's going to be fun. Have tons of fun with it. Do it. Just let completely loose. It's going to be awesome. I promise you. Eventually, we're going to write a list of goals out. But let's go through the progression of it, and it'll change everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's always more beneficial to take your time and do the process and do it right, as opposed to just jumping to the end, because then there's no. Trying to think of the right word. It's not like dedication, but yeah, I guess it's like dedication. Like if you're just skipping to the end, you're not dedicated to anything. And if you just skip to the end, then it's easy to just stop, right? Because there's no commitment. I guess that's what I'm kind of saying.
There's no commitment. It's the same as a New Year's resolution. You have no belief.
Dude, I can't even. Don't even get me started. We'll do one on that. As a former personal trainer, I fucking hate New Year's resolution. Oh my god, it's the goddamn worst.
The worst.
I hate all of you.
That's it, right? When people are like, "Hey, I'm going to write a goal." Well, what's your plan? How did you get there? Like, what are you going to do? Like, well, I want to make $100,000 in 12 months. Well, so do I. What's your plan? How are you going to get there? Like, like whatever it is. So, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. All right. How are we going to do that? So we're going to get to all that. It's going to be legit. Let's just trust the process. Awesome.
All right, dude.
Almost an hour. I said we were going to finish early. We kind of did. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Harry Potter time.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys.